getting reports from individuals who are running low on prescription drugs and the like. If you are to call 911. We will do our best to ensure that what your needs are met. If you have a neighbor, please check up on the neighbor, especially a senior. This is the third day in a row in which Meals on Wheels will not be delivering, is not delivering. So if you have a senior who's a neighbor, please check up on them. I know that some people don't always think about that. They think, well, my neighbors are sitting inside warm, but your neighbor may be sitting inside warm but not have someone else to actually talk to or get to there. So if you could, all our neighbors, we ask you to check on neighbors, especially seniors or those that you know have medical conditions that might require additional prescriptions. Because the snow is coming back and we're talking about another 2 to 3 feet, as we've talked about before, if you have a natural gas furnace that has the vents on the side of the house, the new high efficiency ones, please check on those. If you have a senior that has one of those but can't get out, please check on it. Those need to be cleaned. You need to have a proper airflow. And if snow gets up to there and backs them up, the carbon monoxide has nowhere to go but back in the house. So please check on your high efficiency natural gas furnace vents on the outside of your home. It is a very difficult situation, and we don't want to hear about deaths related to carbon monoxide, which thankfully we haven't heard. At this time, I want to turn it over to our Commissioner of Public Works, John Lafredo, and the Department's Head of Engineering, Charlie Sickler, to give you an idea on what's been going on with the roads. I do feel very good about most of the main roads that are county roads and state roads in all of the municipalities. There are some that are still maybe only down to 1 lane, but I feel like we can get emergency vehicles through those roads. That does not mean that we're going to be able to do every secondary road and get into residential roads. As the undersheriff said, I understand it is an inconvenience. We were just going
Yeah, and you've been listening in, yeah,
the
to a live
throughway
news
right
conference.
now that Mark Poloncarz was just talking about.
Yeah, you've been listening to that live news conference, them talking about the response, this countywide response. We heard also from Dr. Carol Burstein warning people with heart conditions, the elderly, not to step out. I think we've got our live feedback. We're going to listen back in.
It's probably because the secondary road, which leads to the suburb, hasn't been done, and it's not because we're ignoring it. We have hundreds and hundreds of people out there. We've hired private contractors. We have the National Guard. There's a lot of work that's being done, and we'll continue. But I want to let John and Charlie give an opportunity to let you know the latest and any issues.
Thank you, County Executive. Just echoing what was said before, it's very important to observe the traffic bans on these roads. It's much easier to keep a road open than to try a road that is closed. So if you have traffic in that area and they get stuck and those roads are closed again, it takes a great deal of effort to reopen it. So we don't want to go backwards here, so observe the travel bans. As far as the flooding goes, there's a couple good things and a couple bad things. The good thing is the ground isn't frozen. There's no ice in the stream. The bad thing is there's 6 feet of snow that has to melt, which is 6 inches of rain, equivalent to 6 inches of rain. The good thing is it probably melt over maybe a couple of days, which is good. So what we're looking at is really an unknown as far as flooding goes. We've never experienced this before. So the message is stay off the roads, observe the traffic bans, and we'll see what happens from here on in. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I'd like to conclude by thanking each and every one of the emergency service personnel, the Department of Public Works, the law enforcement, the volunteer fire, the professional fire, paid fire units in the city of Buffalo and city of Lackawanna, as well as the numerous folks who've come from outside the impacted areas to help. There's a reason why they call people public servants, and this is a perfect example because they are serving the public. I know a lot of people are inconvenienced who are sitting at home and waiting, and there's a lot of families that are inconvenienced. I want to thank each and every one of the people who've been working very hard on behalf of our community, whether they're in county government, local government, state government, from outside the area, as I said, volunteers. The effort that is being made is tremendous. Most of these individuals have had very little sleep. I think I was calculating I've had a total of 12 hours sleep since I woke up on Monday morning, and I think each and every one of these people standing here can probably say the same thing, or maybe even less. I know he can. Please cut some slack for a lot of these folks. They're working their butts off to deal with this issue. They will continue to work their butts off to deal with this issue. And when you see someone in the public service who's working their butts off, thank them. It makes a big difference. Open it up to questions right now.
Did you talk with the Bills executive staff about the very real possibility with them that the game's going to be postponed because it's just too much to overcome?
We have been in communication with representatives of the Buffalo Bills. Actually, Russ Brandon and I have been texting back and forth. He fully understands the issues that we're dealing with. And as I said earlier at the Three-Way Barns, at this moment, I cannot commit to having any emergency services, and I talked with the sheriff's personnel to hold a football game on Sunday. Maybe we will be able to do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll be able to commit on that Saturday. With the threat of flooding and the need potentially for sheriffs to be, who knows, rescuing people from flooded areas. I hope it's not that bad. We don't think it's going to be like that. We think there's going to be a lot of area standing water, but not the floods that you often see. But we don't know. So at this moment, I cannot commit to putting emergency service personnel, Department of Public Works personnel who normally work at the facility on game day, and talking over with the undersheriff, sheriff's deputies for a football game. This is a storm that has taken 8 lives. We hope it will not take another one. It might. And I just can't commit to it.
With that statement, do you think or hope maybe that that's really going to be what pushes them to decide to move it or do something else, not play Sunday?
I think so. And if I'm the one who's responsible for the Bills not playing at Ralph Wilson Stadium on Sunday, I can live with that. Important things that need to be addressed. If I made a decision that says, no, I can commit to people there, and they played, and I couldn't, and as a result, we needed to rescue individuals or do additional work, then I couldn't live with myself. I can live with knowing that the Bills-Jets game, which I was supposed to go to, is not being played. I can live with that.
I know at the last press conference with the governor, it was said that don't believe there are any more stranded or people stranded in vehicles out there, but we actually just got a call to our newsroom, I guess, somebody saying they're stranded in their vehicle in Lancaster. What should we tell those people? Who do they need to contact? I know you guys are still doing a very...
Well, if you have their name and their location, please give it to the undersheriff.
Yeah, we will.
What we've been reiterating all along is you need to call 911. I don't know if people are doing that, but I hope they are. If you're calling 911, especially from a cell phone, it'll be routed in Erie County through the E911 call center at the Public Safety Campus downtown, which has been manned 100% since the beginning of this storm. It's not like we're short on call takers. We have professionals manning the system. That then is transferred to the locality of where the incident is. So let's give you an example. If this person is in Lancaster, the call from a cell phone will go into the system, immediately be received at the E911 call center. It's a system that goes through Verizon's landline system. The caller will then take the information and transfer that to the town of Lancaster. And the town of Lancaster at that point would be responsible. If it's a community where there is no town police force, it of course is immediately transferred to the sheriff's office. So I think town of Elma doesn't have a police force, correct?
Correct. We would take
Correct.
that call.
So if it's town of Elma, it goes to the Erie County Sheriff's Office. And then sheriff's responsible for that call. So I said, to our knowledge, and I think the governor said, to our knowledge, there were not people stranded. We know there's nobody stranded on the thruway other than the truckers who want to be there in their truck. I was asked yesterday, can you guarantee there's no person stranded in a vehicle? And I said, I cannot make that guarantee because I don't know. We only know based on the information that we have here. As Greg noted, the EOC is in some ways a clearinghouse of information when it comes to what's going out to the towns. We receive information, we work with the communities, we provide information back, but if we're not receiving the information at our EOC through the D-line system, we don't know what the needs are in a community. If somebody's not calling 911, we won't know they're there. I said, I think the first day of the storm, if you are stuck on the side of the road, your first call should not be to a tow truck company. It should be to 911, because then you're put into the system. They'll be able to actually triangulate through cell towers your location to within approximately less than a quarter of a mile, so they'll know where you are. And that's actually how they were able to identify where the unfortunate incident where the gentleman died in his vehicle was, by triangulating through his prior cell phone calls and his cell actually giving off the ping. That's how they were able to do it. So if you are stuck in a vehicle still, and if you are, I'm very sorry, especially if you've been there for the whole storm. If you are driving and drove today and got stuck in a vehicle in communities you shouldn't be driving, we'll get to you. As the undersheriff said, there are people who now in their vehicle and they have to pull and tow the vehicle, but you shouldn't be driving in the first place.
Last question, guys?
Mark, back to the Bills for a moment. It's an NFL decision.
don't know.
Have you been in discussion with the NFL at all?
No, I don't. I haven't had time to talk to the NFL. I'm more. Listen, I've said this all along. The NFL is a business. It's as simple as that, folks. The NFL is a business. And if the NFL is trying to push the Bills, and I don't think the Bills are trying to push, I think if the NFL is trying to push the Bills to hold a football game while we're in the middle of an emergency, shame on the NFL. Simple as that. We are in a major emergency. We've had 8 deaths. We still might have people in their vehicles. We have roofs collapsing. We were just touring a facility where there were a couple hundred patients at a nursing home, and there was 7 feet of snow with another 2 to 3 feet potential on a flat roof of a nursing home. If the NFL is pushing this game to be held, shame on the NFL. Simple as that. Thanks, everyone.